Chapter 18. Conversations with Dumbledore and Friends. I darted down the long hallways of the school with tears streaming down my face. I couldn't bloody believe everything that had occurred. I didn't want to believe that Snape had said that, but he did. I don't understand why he has to be so damn complicated, yet he dares to even call me hard-headed. I'm not the only one with feelings here. Heck, he partly feels the same for me, even if he doesn't want to fully admit it. I partly feel so stupid. I feel stupid for feeling the way I do about him, but at the same time, I can't help it. He is the most evil, bipolar, cruel, unhearted, uncaring, and selfish person I've ever met. I thought as I didn't realize that I bumped into someone tall. Before I could respond, I looked up and noticed that it was only Professor Dumbledore. He asked with concern, "Miss Parker, is something wrong?" I responded, still crying. "It's about Snape, Professor. Come with me to my office and explain everything to me." So with that, we went on what seemed like a long way to his office, longer than usual. Along the way, he tried to at least to get me to stop crying and seemed genuinely concerned, especially with all that I've been through lately. I know it's good to let out my emotions, but I also don't want to seem so easily emotional. Once we got to his office and sat down, I thoroughly explained the whole situation and the bad conversation we had. Professor Dumbledore nodded his head the whole time without speaking and let me fully tell my story. Once he realized I was starting to cry again, he surprisingly got up out of his seat, went up, and hugged me while I was sitting. So I stood up and he hugged me tightly as I hugged him back while I put my head in his chest with his beard tickling my face. I guess I didn't realize in a situation like this, I needed some type of loving embrace from a person I could trust. I guess that somehow Professor Dumbledore sensed that from me. I spent some time listening to his words as he tried his best to bring me comfort in the best way possible. Little did I know what was really going on, some of which I knew, but also didn't. What I do know is that this complex mix of love feelings between Snape and me only adds fuel to the fire. He stated, "Miranda, I have no idea why Severus would speak such a thing to someone like you, a student nonetheless. I did warn him that whatever decision is made, it could affect you. I cannot speak for any of his actions lately. Alas, at the same time, he's right as well. It is dangerous for you two to be in a relationship. Even though I can keep a secret along with your friends, if other people find out, like the ministry, I'll have to forcefully make decisions I won't want to make. It's the way things are, I'm afraid." I painfully looked up at him as his hands lay on my shoulders. I know, it's just the timing with all of it that's hurting the most. I don't know what to do. He looked at me. "The best thing you can do right now, Miranda, is focus on yourself and your schoolwork. But Professor, I do have a different question to ask you." "What is it, Miranda? You know you can ask me anything." "My apologies if this seems out of the blue, sir, but if Voldemort finds a way to come back, does that mean that Snape will have to go to him?" I looked up at him with my puppy dog eyes as he softly responded, I'm afraid so, Miranda, yes. As long as Voldemort and Severus are both alive, Severus has to serve him. He will have no choice but to again, I'm afraid. The situation is much more complicated than that, but I won't worry unless it comes to it." He watched me for a minute and knew I was worried about everything, including the danger Harry and I would be in if Voldemort somehow came back alive. I stated, "Also, Snape said something to me about how he let you down once and now you trust him again." Yes, that is true." "Can you tell me anything more than that, Professor?" "I'm afraid I cannot say anything about that topic, Miranda. I'm sorry. It's a secret that we do not speak of anymore." "I understand that you can't tell me. It's all right. I guess I just don't know how to feel exactly anymore with all that's been occurring lately." He let me go and looked into my eyes. "I know you have enough to deal with and a lot is happening, but you know I'm here if you truly need someone. Tell you what, Miranda, I want you to go to your dormitory and get some much needed rest. If you feel better soon, you can go to your classes. If not, then you can stay in bed. If any of the teachers ask or come to me about your absence, I will tell them you have a light case of the flu and told you are told to be absent." I faintly smiled and responded, "Yeah, I guess I should try and eventually get some rest. I think I might try and do that. Thank you very much, Professor, for everything." After that, I said my goodbyes, left his office, and started to think while walking back. The one thing that reassures me is that Professor Dumbledore is someone I can go to. The one thing that reassures me is that Professor Dumbledore is someone I can go to. But you know, I only somewhat knew the past of Snape's past of serving Voldemort, even though I don't know much information, just the basics of it. There was, of course, only so much told, but I know people like Snape and Professor Dumbledore are just trying to protect me. I truly can't believe that Snape might have to go back to Voldemort if he came back alive again, although I shouldn't be surprised. That wasn't what I was worried about in any case. I was worried most of all about what Voldemort would do to me if he got to me if I was alone, considering he killed my parents. He should remember me from that event all those years ago, after all. Not watching where I was exactly walking, I ended up bumping into Harry. "Hey, Miranda, are you okay?" he asked concernedly. I thought about it for a second as to why Harry would suddenly ask why I was alright. Then I remembered how much I was crying earlier, so my face was probably red with tear-stained cheeks. I shook my head to say yes and responded, "Yeah, I'm alright, Harry." But I should have known better than to say that because Harry would take it as a lie. "I know you better than that, Miranda. Come on, tell me what's bothering you." "Come with me to the dormitory. Hermione should still be there, I think. I can explain it to you both." He nodded his head and walked with me to the dormitory. When we got there, Hermione turned around from where she was standing and looked at me. I was thankful that this whole area was empty for now, except for us, so that no one could butt in on the conversation. Hermione looked at me, also concerned. "Miranda, what happened? Why have you been crying so much? I thought we were past all the crying about Dad." She and Harry both looked at me with full concern and worry. I sighed as I sat down on one of the couches by the fire, and they both sat down next to me. I then told them the whole story of me and Snape's talk, of me storming out and bumping into Professor Dumbledore, of talking with him in his office and what he said, and then me bumping into Harry. Hermione asked after I was finished explaining, "So, let me get this straight. If you know who comes back somehow, Snape has to be there?" I responded sadly, "Yeah, I guess he won't have any choice because apparently he was undercover for Dumbledore sometime in the past. That's all Snape or Professor Dumbledore would tell me. Please don't ever say anything, guys. I couldn't get either of them to tell me anything else. But I'm really afraid, you guys." They both asked, "Why?" I was about to answer them, but then Ron suddenly walked in. I wondered where he was. He said, "Miranda, I was looking for you and Harry in the hallway when I ran into Professor Dumbledore, and he told me why you came to see him. He also said that you would probably be here. Are you okay?" I replied, "Yeah, I guess so, Ron. I'm trying anyway." He sat on the couch by the fire by me, Hermione, and Harry. Hermione said curiously, Miranda, tell us why you're afraid." "Well, since I know you guys won't judge me. When and if Lord Voldemort comes back alive, guys, he'll remember me from killing my parents many years ago, like Harry's parents. I might be in the same danger just about as Harry." I felt Harry grab my hand as he looked at me and smiled a little. I managed to smile back some. At least they knew of my past as well and never judged me or Harry for a horrible past. But if Voldemort does somehow come back, whether anyone believes it will be up to them. As time went on with us getting closer together, it was only right to fully tell them the truth about my past. Plus, Harry and Ron had figured out in the second year that I was already staying with Hermione, so I had to tell them. I don't know what I would do without them. Ron asked me, "So, what will you do if you know who comes back?" "I don't know, honestly. I guess try to stay away from him. But I know that will almost be impossible. I can only begin to imagine how it would be for you, Harry." I glanced over at Harry as I said that, and I noticed he didn't say anything back. Hermione added, "I'm sorry about everything Snape said to you. I wish I could do something to punish him for hurting you." I was shocked by what she said, but I let her continue. He may be a teacher, but that gives him no right at all to speak to you that way, let alone play with your feelings and that sort of nature. Protective of me like a sister. That's Hermione. Harry and Ron nodded in agreement. Me too. Why, you guys? Harry stated honestly, because, Miranda, he doesn't realize what a kind, wonderful, and beautiful person he lost. He looked into my eyes as I stared back, feeling my cheeks getting red. I looked down shyly as Hermione and Ron smiled. Soon, Hermione got up to leave with Ron, and I secretly knew that she still liked him as she looked at me in a certain way. I giggled as I watched him leave the area. It was now just me and Harry alone, sitting by the fire. There was silence for a few minutes when Harry noticed I was too quiet. Miranda, are you sure you're okay? I didn't respond at all, as I was silent. He asked me again, Miranda, are you all right? He knows me too well. He lifted my chin so I was looking straight into his eyes. Noticing I was crying, he wiped my tears as I shook my head to say no, that I wasn't okay. I know I'm partly pretending to be and to be strong like a true Gryffindor, but so much has gone wrong. He responded softly, I'm really sorry he said that to you, Miranda. Teacher or not, you really don't deserve someone like him. I softly responded nervously. He also told me that I would be better off with a boy like you than him, meaning a relationship type thing. He looked at me. Forgive me, heart and brain, for the confusion I'm about to say. Given the fact that we're young teens with raging hormones and young love and this and that, I know you make like me more than just a best friend, Harry. More than you probably admit to right now. He blushed and looked down and away from me. It was my turn to lift his chin as he looked back at me. I know you also like someone else, such as Cho, but... I took a deep breath as I felt my heartbeat raising slowly. Harry, I stopped before I said anything else, and he didn't say anything either. Now I was really nervous and conflicted about my feelings as I still stared at Harry in a hypnotized but comfortable state. He finally whispered, Honestly, Miranda, I have always liked you in a way since I first met you in my first year. I guess I didn't want to admit any of it because of my growing friendship with you. Although no offense, but sometimes girls are confusing. I giggled and blushed. No offense taken. If I'm being honest, Harry, I liked you the whole first year and most of the second year. I didn't want to say anything because of that same reason. And now? I shrugged my shoulders in defense. I don't know. I'm being confused about my feelings as, you know. He got closer as the gap between us decreased. You really felt the same? Yeah. Without another word, I leaned in as he kissed me lightly. I kissed back and soon let go, not knowing what to say. He stated, If it's all right with you, I would like to try and be something more, Miranda, in a relationship way, without ruining our friendship. I was about to respond, but he continued. I know the problem with you and Snape will be hard, and I might get jealous because of that, but I'm fine with it. No matter what happens between us, you're my best friend, Miranda, and I'll stay that way. You promise, Harry? No matter what happens between us, we'll have a close friendship and not completely lose each other? I promise, Miranda. Always, always. I smiled at his response as he chuckled softly. I cut his giggling off by kissing him happily. Honestly, I couldn't care less about anything else at the moment other than being happy. Maybe trying this with him won't be such a bad thing after all, as a boyfriend rather than just a best friend.